Hey everyone! It's Heaving Bosoms Ask a Badass, where you get to hear from some of our wonderful listeners. On Monday, be sure to tune in to the regular episode because we've got a special guest. Jill Shalvis is joining Erin to recap The Holiday, chat about dogs, Jude Law and his spectacle magic, and her new release, Wrapped Up in You. And now we have Bethany, the boss bitch. Natalie and she talk all about how romance can help you learn about yourself, cultivating the confidence to be a boss at work or anywhere else, and skincare, among so many other things. Here we go. Hey, so hi, Bethany.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. HBs. Today we're talking with Bethany M. Very loyal and forever HB, right? From the start or no?
No, actually, no. I looked this up last night. I joined the Facebook group in August of 2018. So,
what was your first episode that you listened to?
I'm a traditionalist. I started from the beginning.
Oh, really? So you just kind of were Googling?
Yeah. So my life has kind of mostly always been in New England, but I moved down to Pennsylvania, not knowing a soul for a job.
Oof. Yeah.
It was very interesting. I'm very proud of myself. Mm-hmm. But spoiler, I moved back to where where I went to college and where I worked for 5 years. Yeah. But when I was in Pennsylvania, I was just looking for podcasts and things like that. Like there were a few of the big headliner ones that I was listening to, and I was really missing romance in my life. Like I didn't have a group of people to talk to about it. So I just Googled it, found it, started listening.
See, like all you entrepreneurs that are like, I'm going to find this myself. I was like, literally, not only did somebody have to tell me, you should listen to this, Penny Reed, but then I was like, no, but I don't think I do. And then I still didn't believe. And then it took me a while. And then I finally did. Like, way to go, all of you do-it-yourselfers for actually like taking some initiative and finding it on your own. So you started from the beginning. So are you one of the rare people that have listened to elusive episodes 1 and 2?
Yes, I am.
It's an elite club.
I feel very happy to be part of this club.
I feel like for you as a person who probably needs to have listened to it in order maybe a little bit, that it might like have driven you crazy.
Yes, absolutely. I like my structure, and then there's this.
And it's funny because like I was reading the answers to your questionnaire, and we have so many things in common that we both do that are very similar. But I think like on paper, like when you talk about the two of our personalities, we're very different.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love hearing that.
It's really funny.
I like hearing
but
that
I was reading
like
and I was like, oh, me
out there.
Oh, me too. And like, have you always been a romance reader for your whole life, or?
I have been. So when you were asking the question of, why did you start reading romance? I had to think back to when I was like preteen, like definitely should not have been reading it, but definitely was.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like that's like if there was like a pie chart done of like,
I'd be like that
romance readers who started reading like before they were 13, like maybe not even to puberty, but we already figured it out because we were reading romance
exactly.
way too soon.
Yeah. I mean, I had 2 older sisters. They were, 4 and 6. They are 4 and 6 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was fine. But I was super, super lucky growing up. My mom worked at a library. So I have been around books my entire life. I am that poster child of I have 2 hobbies. I buy books and I collect books. And then I read some of the books. That's my life. But growing up, I always had books around me, and I was very thankful that my parents really encouraged me to read. So I was probably beginning of middle school when I read my first adult book, and that was the Cat Who series by Lillian Jackson Braun.
Oh man, had some seriously good memories of those.
Right?
I can literally probably recite or at least like describe certain portions of it. I think it's like the cat who sang for cheese or something like that.
Yes,
and
it's
the
blue
guy
cover.
Yes. And the guy lived in like a round barn that was turned into an apartment. And I'm like, that has stuck with me. I'm like, I need a round barn house. He had steps all up the outside of the circular house. Ingenious. Every level was like up. You had to walk up these like ramp steps, like you're the flipping Guggenheim Museum or some shit. And that's his house. And it was in this round barn. And I visualized it since I read that book for like, so that's what, like 20 years?
Oh yeah, at least. Yeah.
Maybe
okay,
more.
maybe not that much, but no, yeah, maybe about 20. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was reading these books, and I remember finding them on my mom's bookcase. So like, if I would finish one, I would just go get one from my mom's bookcase, and then I finished all the books, and then I picked up a Nora Roberts, and I remember starting to read it and being like, okay, I definitely should not be reading this.
Yep.
But I'm definitely going to go take a bath and read it.
Yeah.
And I just went, that's how it started. And ever since then, it's been my escape. And how I really look at, what is the most fulfilling thing for me when I do have downtime or I can do something. It's pick up a book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't remember who I was talking with about this because we were talking about, it's not like we're reading this book and you're picturing that this is what you want your reality to be. It's that it's not your reality, and you can sink into this other reality, and you can kind of just get away from either stress, or maybe it's even good stuff, but you can just take a little break from whatever's going on in your life and explore someone else's life for a little while. Because I think that's one of those like stereotypes about romance, is that people are reading it and they're like comparing their partner or whatever to this character the whole time. And I don't think that that's accurate. I think it's just that you want to get away from your reality for a little while.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think one of the more confusing things for my friends who aren't big readers is how, if I had to pick any book, it would be a romance, but I do like exploring all the different worlds outside of the romance genre. Good another one of my favorite authors is Richard Preston, and he wrote The Hot Zone, and that's pretty much as far away from a happily ever after as you can get. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's a little bleak.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you get to explore this different part of your mind and how you imagine things. And I've also learned a ton about myself through reading romance and my interpersonal relationships.
Absolutely, because you can definitely, we always, at least I'm sure, I know I do, I'm sure you probably do too, where you're reading a book and you're like, oh my gosh, that's this person in my life, is this person. And so sometimes you can see these people from a different point of view, because sometimes you're getting a sneak peek inside their brain, which is kind of cool.
It's so true.
Yeah. I know that this is a true thing, but have you ever had an embarrassing listening to the podcast story?
Yes.
I'm gonna need details. I'm gonna need who it was, how, when.
So if you really want to dig, I'm actually featured in a previous Heaving Bosoms podcast episode with my terrifyingly awful moment.
Were you on the year anniversary? Yep. Did you submit your story?
Yes, I did. Yep. Yeah, so I'll just say I'm the poster child of the group, with the whole make sure your phone and your Bluetooth isn't synced when you start your car. Otherwise, a really awkward moment of the red might come up with your friend from work sitting in the passenger seat.
It's never happened to me. It's always been like my kids or my husband. It's never been another. Well, it's come up it's come on before, but it's never been like an embarrassing moment. But yeah, I feel like I'm confident in just turning off Turning off the audio. Like, I feel like I've learned my lesson now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scrambling for the phone never works. Learn from us, everybody.
Yes. And as a very gentle reminder to anyone listening to this, go for the volume button, not for your phone.
Yes, exactly. Turn off, press that audio. I'm sure it's like this on every car. If you press the volume dial, it just turns off the audio. You don't have to even try to stop the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can always go back later.
Oh,
Summer children out there that haven't had this happen yet.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I've had quite a few because, I mean, there was the moment listening to that. I remember like there was another time I was talking to my coworker and it was, I don't remember if it was a book that she mentioned. And I was like, hey, so there's this podcast.
Yeah.
And I started to play it for her in like my office or something. And we used to work in an open air environment. Yeah. And it started playing, but one of my other coworkers came in and it was like, just, I don't remember what was said but it was one of those like, hey, we don't really know each other and this is my life. So, hi.
Yeah, well, there's going to be lots of cock words. There's going to be lots of tits words. There's going to be lots of suggestive language. Just, I mean, if you want to be part of my life.
It's so true. But, I mean, like, on the other hand, like, this isn't a funny, like, super embarrassing moment, but I have had other times where I've had really awesome, honest conversations with people about, you know, this is who I am. This is part of who I am. Like, this is a very important group of people to me. And it's something I look forward to listening to every week.
So shut up. I'm listening to it right now.
And they ended up listening to an episode.
Yeah.
And like the conversations afterwards, they were like, I didn't get it. And now I do. And it's interesting. It was both. It happened with both a male and a female. And those conversations afterwards were, you know, I think it helped clarify a lot of perspectives. And also in the case of the female, she goes, oh, now I know why you say oof and woof.
It's one of those things. I was, I even like doing this like thing that we're doing right now. Like, I don't know if like my brain is like, no, you should try to use these phrases because people will know. I'm not doing it on purpose, but I think they're just part of my life now.
It is who I am.
Yeah. Sorry. We're, fully ingrained now.
It's all for the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I do have another funny.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So there's another part of the cult or the podcast group that has become my signature at work. And it is the lipstick, the Maybelline Superstay, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where I have one coworker who comes in the morning, and if I'm not wearing the lipstick because, you know, I'm eating breakfast or I haven't finished my coffee or something like that, he'll come in and he goes, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine.
Do you have lip cancer?
And he goes, well, where's your lipstick? And I'm like, I haven't put it on yet. And he goes, well, what are you going to wear today? And I go, I don't know, pick it out. And I put them all on the counter. And it's become this really endearing thing that I have with this coworker who is, you wouldn't picture him as the person who would come in and be like, this is a cool part of who you are. And it's part of your identity now.
Yeah. I switched jobs recently also. And at my old job, if I wanted to wear lipstick, it was always like, what are you so dressed up for? Or what are you, you know, like, why are you wearing lipstick? It was always a lot of questions. So like when I started this new job, I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, like I'm not going to not wear it. And one of the ladies, because it's a big hotel, so we have a food and beverage side, and she had come up to me and she was like, you know, I always thought I had to wear muted lipstick here, but I think I'm going to start wearing bright lipstick too. And I was like, girl, you should
do it.
Because what? Why not?
Exactly. Yeah. For for my job, I work for a college and I run the alumni office. So I have a very externally focused job.
Yeah.
And I also, like, I'll say it, I worked my ass off to get to where I am, but I'm also very young to be in a director level. So I have to be very conscientious of how I am presenting myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wear dresses, I would comfortably say 85% of the time.
I would agree with that statement for myself too. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel very comfortable and confident in dresses. And, you know, having that lipstick, or, I mean, actually, I would say that this podcast in general has absolutely and totally helped me with my confidence for who I am by listening to Erin and Melody, and, you know, having this culture of people around me who are just super supportive. You know, it helps me feel my best self.
Yeah. It's like an armor, you know?
Yeah.
I think I had said this the other day to somebody, that I was having a couple of things that I needed to do, a big meeting or like on a phone call or something like that. And I felt like whatever it is, it doesn't have to be lipstick for you. It could be, you know, it doesn't have to be a dress, but some people, there's something that they wear or that they do, or a routine that makes them feel their most confident. And that's definitely like putting on an outfit that I feel put together and that I feel comfortable in, that I feel like, you know, would present myself well. That always makes me feel like I am ready for anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Come at me.
Yeah. Like for my best friend, he will drive to work, and before he goes into work, he just sits there and he you know, some days it might be a self-talk, or some days it's like, you know, you got this today. And just even that 5 minutes of prepping yourself for the day, like he was like, that's how I know I'm going to be walking in the right frame of mind. And I'm just like, that's awesome. Like to be able to,
it's like his own form of meditation.
Yep, exactly.
I'm a bad meditator. Like I have a hard time sitting still. I have a hard time shutting my brain off, which is part of the reason I do not sleep. So like people who are able to meditate for like more than 5 seconds, I'm like, but how? It's witchcraft. I just don't get it.
They are the coolest people ever.
Yes, I cannot. Like, and even I'll do yoga sometimes, or like in a class, and I know that like they're like people. I'm the person that's like peeking the one eye open to be like, so are we on to the next step, or are we still laying down in corpse pose, or what are we doing here?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, when I was. So I have my MBA. I finished my MBA a couple of years ago.
Whoop.
Thank you. Yeah, that was an awesome experience, and I'm so grateful for it. But one of my classes was a weekend intensive class, and we started the day with meditation, and we ended the day with yoga.
I like yoga, but
okay. Yeah. And I remember the second day, the instructor came over to me afterwards, and she was like, so I don't think you're conscientious of this, but you tap a lot. No. Like I'll tap my fingers or I'll tap my toes. And she was like, I don't think you have fully embraced meditation. I'm like,
you're like, do you mean I haven't embraced it at all? Because that's also accurate.
So I am getting better. I've been trying a lot harder, but it's definitely, it's a challenge for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know if everyone needs to be a meditator though. You know what I mean? People, the world needs all kinds, you know? You and I,
very true.
We can just save meditation for somebody else. That's totally
we make
fine.
You look good.
Yeah, exactly. You will look like the flippin' Dalai Lama when it comes to meditation compared to us. You're welcome, everybody. Yeah. What else are you passionate about right now?
So I think I have a few. I do love cooking and baking. I feel like that's a pretty standard answer. So my non-standard,
maybe for you and me, but maybe not standard for someone else. What's your favorite thing to bake? I want to know.
So many things. I actually really love making snickerdoodles.
Oh, but I could eat probably 6,000 snickerdoodles.
Oh, good.
I'm not
good,
even
good,
going to
good.
lie.
I grew up baking with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And when I lived in Pennsylvania, I would come up, stay at my parents' house in Connecticut for the night, and then drive the next half of the trip up to Vermont or New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And I would stay with my best friend, and my mother always made him and his partner zucchini bread.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten to the point now where like my mom will come up to visit and make my best friend zucchini bread. And
Sorry,
I have not
Bethany,
perfected.
you don't get any.
No, I don't. She will say, make sure this gets to them. And I'm like, okay. And
But Mom,
me?
am I allowed to have a slice of it?
No, I'm not allowed to. Like, she then questions me like 2 days later. She's like, did they get it? I'm like, yes.
Did you take photo proof of you handing it off? Okay. This is
No,
a
but I
hostage situation.
I should. That's what I
should
need to
document it next time. Be a super sass about it.
So I need to perfect my zucchini bread recipe. That's what that tangent was about.
I feel like I didn't know that zucchini bread was a thing until I moved. So I live in a very rural area. And like here, everyone has those like giant zucchinis where you're like, literally, are these from Gilligan's Island? What is happening to these? Do you remember the episode of Gilligan's Island where all the vegetables were radioactive and all of them were gigantic? And they all gave like, I can't remember who it was. Like Gilligan ate the carrots and he had supervision, and the professor ate the spinach and he was really strong. So anytime I see a giant vegetable, that's my only reference point for it.
I love it. You know, when they do those big pumpkin weight competitions, you must be having a moment.
Yeah, I mean, what is pumpkin superpower? I have to look into that. Fiber? I don't know.
I don't know.
Super poop?
Probably.
Something. Turn orange. I don't know. So I didn't really know it existed, but then like I moved here and everyone was like, hey, we have these giant zucchinis, but they taste like shit unless you like put them in zucchini bread. You know what I mean? Because they're like basically wood from now on by now. But so I didn't really have it. And I think part of me still, even though I know, just like carrot cake and pumpkin bread and whatever else, they don't taste like the vegetable. But in my brain, it does. And so I just have never been able to move on from zucchini bread. Like, there's green in there. I can see it sometimes. And I just can't move on from it. And I haven't been able to accept it as a sweet product. So yes, I am also a big baker. And so I was like reading a questionnaire. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, me too. I was volunteering. Yep. And then I also got to this part where you're like, I believe firmly in fresh flowers. And I was like, excuse me. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I actually have 0 green thumbs. And my philosophy in life is if you buy fresh cut flowers, you can't kill it because it's already dying.
Yeah. You're rescuing it.
Exactly.
You're giving it a good home for the rest of its life.
Yeah. So I'm a firm believer in flowers. Actually, almost every week, I will include it in my Sunday grocery shopping, and I'll put together a bouquet or and bring it into work, or you know, if I'm really feeling it, I'll walk downtown to our florist, and I have such a great florist on Main Street, which is a 3-minute walk from my office. And I will walk in and I go, I'm feeling yellows at $15.
This is like everything I've ever dreamed of.
Yeah. It's awesome. And they'll put together these beautiful flower displays. And then I just walk them back to my office and I keep them on my table in my office, and everybody walks by and they're like, I like them this week.
Yeah.
There's actually a few people that I've connected with through the Facebook group, and actually last week I said, help, I need help. And I sent them a picture of the grocery store display, and someone piped in, and said what they wanted. So I picked those up, and another person responded like an hour later, and she's like, oh, but I like these. And I was like, you pick them this week. And so I was at the grocery store and I messaged them on Facebook and I said, okay, these are your options. What do you want? And she put 2 bouquets that I never would have put together, and they look gorgeous. Yeah, it's Astrameria and then like a wildflower in these 3 different colors. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. What are your current lady loves right now?
I'll be honest, I'm very into makeup. I'm very into skincare. It is having that routine in my life. This isn't my lady love because it shouldn't be, but I suffer very bad anxiety. And I have found having routines in skincare and what I do in the morning and doing my makeup and doing my hair and having those rituals have really helped kind of battle my anxiety because I usually wake up with really rough anxiety in the morning. So finding a routine through skincare has been incredibly important to me. And
then probably your skin is also really nice as like a nice side benefit.
True. I mean, it could be better.
Couldn't all of our skin be better?
Yeah.
But I'm not really doing a routine, so like mine could probably really be better. I just figured out what eye cream is just the other day.
Yeah. So a few months ago, I 100% was duped into buying this face mask because the packaging was hot pink and shiny.
Oh, yeah. Marketing worked on you.
Oh, yeah.
You were the target market.
Exactly. And it was like one of those one-off masks that was like $2.99 or something at Target. And I was like, yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's what Target, the whole store of Target exists in that way for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is on sale. Great. I'm buying it right now.
I felt like such a cliche. I actually went to Target and TJ Maxx this weekend. And by the time I got to the register at TJ Maxx, she goes, "Did you find everything you were looking for?" I'm like, "I found absolutely everything I wasn't looking for."
Did I even come here with a list? No, I just came here. TJ Maxx has to tell you what you need.
I need in my life.
Same with Marshalls.
Mm-hmm.
You just go there and you wait for them to decide.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this face mask completely changed my world.
Okay, what is so great about it?
So it is a grapefruit. Okay, so the name is Yes to Grapefruit Brightening Unicorn Peel Off Mask.
Okay, I hate that entire name, but I love grapefruit. So
and it's a vitamin C like skin brightening. So like
what does that word mean?
So you'll glow.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Some paranormal shit up here. No, is it magic?
So you turn the color of grapefruit.
Okay. Great.
No, it just
my skin was ruby red enough, so this is perfect for me.
Exactly what we look for.
Yeah. Oh, bring out the ruddiness. Okay. Does it make you look more or less like a unicorn?
Well, it is shiny when you put it on, and it has this like holographic effect to it.
What is it made of? Is it unicorn stem cells? Yes.
Vibrancy. It like helps your skin look vibrant. That's what I wanted to say.
There it is. We got there. It's no problem.
I have no idea what's in it.
It's just made out of like petroleum, and it doesn't matter because it makes you feel good. It probably smells great because it smells like grapefruit, and I love everything that smells like grapefruit.
It does.
That's my go-to smell. Like if I'm gonna pick a soap or whatever, grapefruit.
What would my go-to smell be?
Oh, this is a good lightning round question. What's your favorite smell?
Roses.
Oh, really? Because that's like I'm very careful about roses. Like I have a rose. I just switched to an all natural face line.
Good for you.
I don't know. We'll see. But it's called rose kombucha, which I'm like, stop using buzzwords with me, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this actually has kombucha in it, okay? Just stop making it sound healthy. Nobody actually likes kombucha. They just force themselves to drink it.
No,
sorry if you like kombucha, listener, but it's awful.
I tried it for the first time, and I literally just handed it to my coworker, and I was like, I don't want this.
I really want to I actually had a kombucha cocktail, which was very good, but it had alcohol in it. So I was like, okay, I mean, this one tastes good. But I I can't drink it. I could only ever get through like a third, which maybe a serving size is a third, and I was fine, like a third of a bottle. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like enough, and I'm like, okay, how like, and then it has like, it's alive, so that's hard for me sometimes to think about. And I'm like, I'm just drinking live
I never
stuff.
thought of that.
Stuff, amoebas or whatever.
Oh, gross.
So tell me about your cat.
My cat is Perfection. Actually, she is a rescue that I got back in April. So she was my welcome back to New Hampshire / happy birthday to yourself cat.
Yeah.
She is, we think, 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She actually has no history before she showed up at a shelter in Georgia, and she was almost immediately transported up to New England where I found her.
That's crazy. She like went on the longest card of her life. No wonder she has like bitch face all the time.
Yeah. So
it's not resting. I didn't say resting bitch face on purpose.
No, it's constant.
Because it is active. It is an active bitch face all the time.
So she has some Maine Coon in her. So she has the fluff. She has that traditional Maine Coon coloring where she kind of looks like a tabby. Mm-hmm. She has the fur between her paws and then the tufts and all that.
Yeah.
But she has these beautiful, beautiful blue-green eyes. Mm-hmm. But her eyelids are a little droopy, so it constantly looks like she's
squinting at you. She is frowning.
I mean, she 100% is.
Yeah.
But it's actually been really cool because, a couple of my friends and actually my family too, have been like, she's very much like her owner. And I'm like, I just kind of give them a look. They're like, yeah, exactly.
It's match made in heaven.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because I don't know her history, she's actually really cool because she's been learning how to be more affectionate. Mm-hmm. So, like, the first 2 months, her affection was like putting one paw on my thigh as I was laying in bed.
Yeah.
And now we're at the point now where my alarm goes off way too early in the morning for me. And so I hit the snooze once, and she ends up climbing on my chest, and we're almost nose to nose. Uh-huh. But it's really cute because she's not like, hey, I'm hungry.
Yeah, she actually ends up close to you.
Yeah, she wants to be close, and like she snores, which is adorable.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so do I, which is adorable.
Oh my gosh, you're perfect.
So like she'll be laying on me and she gets these little kitty snores, and then my alarm goes off again, and then I ruin it because I get up.
Gotta get up. Okay. Are you ready for a lightning round?
Yes.
Are you an Erin or Melody?
I am mostly Erin with moments of Melody. Mm-hmm. But I definitely need more melodies in my life. I will say that, and I recognize that because people with Melody's effervescence, it just illuminates everything. Mm-hmm. But Erin with her logic and her ability to see big picture, it's so cool. I love it. I'm so impressed by both of them on so many levels.
Absolutely. That's my sister and I was trying to describe the because my sister was at our KissCon party last year. And so she met a lot of the HBs, and I was kind of like trying to describe, because she met Erin, and I was trying to describe how like my sister is Erin and I am the Melody in that situation. And you talk like, there's definitely like her and I need each other to like balance things out, which is kind of how Erin and Mel are.
100%.
Yeah. Do you have?
It's in Connecticut. Connecticut. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually going with someone who I work with now, who started listening to the podcast because we were talking about the Sarah J. Maas book that they did on the podcast.
Yes.
And she started listening, and like I'll like randomly drop off a book to her and be like, "Hey, here you go."
Are you a paperback reader?
I am in whatever way it comes at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know I just mentioned I'm physically reading the Tessa Dare books, but like I love listening to Regencies and historicals on audiobook.
There's probably something about like the texture of the words. You know what I mean? Like it's a little richer. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
To hear it spoken.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I'll listen to them when I'm cooking or when I'm, putting away laundry, when I'm cleaning, something like that.
So are you a Regency girl? Are you like mostly historicals or does it
I'm all over the place.
Perfect.
I'm trying to get into paranormals. I will say that, but I mean, I really am all over the place. I like cozy romance to hot and heavy to Regency to contemporaries. I'm all in between.
Do you have a favorite trope?
Sports.
I like sports too.
Give me a good hockey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I remember I was reading. It was one of those free book club books that I just picked up, and I started reading it. And it was when I lived in Pennsylvania, and it took place in the city that was like
weird
25 minutes away from me, and I was like, oh, why can't this be real life?
Yeah.
And I can't for the life of me remember what it is.
Oh, man. You could have told me anything and I would have believed you too.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your Hogwarts house? I have a couple more questions.
Slytherin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a lot of Slytherins in the cult.
Yes. I look very fantastic in Emerald and Ambition, so I know I'm Slytherin.
Yes. What is your favorite carb?
Croissants.
Mine too.
Are they the best?
Yes.
Oh,
I was talking to Melody about this, and she was like, "Really, a croissant?" And I was like, "Have you ever had a fresh baked croissant?"
Yeah.
But she also can't do dairy, so it's kind of like a.
Oh, that's true.
But like,
what is it? 27 folds.
Something like that. Yeah. With the flakiness and the crispiness of the outside.
And you can do so much with them. You can just have them plain. You can have them with jelly. You can,
I literally
make a sandwich out of them.
Yes, they're so versatile. Make French toast. Have you ever made French toast?
Yes,
you need to do that if you haven't. Yes, so good.
But use real maple syrup.
Well, yeah.
No, that's not a thing. Not everyone does that.
Oh,
that's a pet peeve of mine.
Oh. Your New Hampshire is showing.
Yeah, it is. I actually bought tins of maple syrup to bring down to my friends in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Aunt Jemima,
spread
that's
the
not
gospel.
real.
So I'm sure there's like snobbiness about the grades or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it says maple syrup on it, pure maple syrup, do I still qualify as passing this as? Okay, good.
Yes. And they actually just recently changed the grades, I think. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember what it was. But I'm not that particular. It just has to be real.
Yeah. If you could bing boom bong something, what would it be?
Bing boom bong event logistics with Bethany.
Thank you. What is your biggest pet peeve? Event pet peeve?
The entire movie of The Christmas Planner, or whatever that was.
I didn't ever see it. I don't know. I didn't see it.
Whatever.
I can't do bad acting. Big. I cannot do it.
I just like little things like, yeah. So part of my responsibility is I do event planning and, for alums and for people on campus. And like, some people think that it just magically happens.
Yes.
And like, no. Catering takes a while. You need to work through. Sometimes there's tent permits you need to think about.
There's a reason you have a cutoff date.
Yep. And like, I'm sorry, leopard print doesn't always go with everything.
I mean, I might have some contentions on that, but
there's a time.
I know what you mean.
I also, yeah. I mean, like, and certain colors and patterns don't mix if you want to have this type of event.
Yeah.
So event logistics with Bethany.
I definitely understand that feel.
That, and weirdly for me, check-in tables. That's where I get the most particular.
Yeah. People should know where to go without having to ask you.
Signage.
Yes.
You should have, absolutely.
You should have a good system. Everyone should know the system.
Mm-hmm. Have extra pens and extra highlight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And extra paper clips.
Oh.
And probably extra rubber bands.
Yes. I actually have like a legitimate toolkit that I bring. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay. This is my last one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
If you could dispense one condiment from your belly button, what would it be?
Okay. So when you sent me this ahead of time, this I gagged at.
It's working then. So
I couldn't even come up with a witty, funny answer. That's how much I struggled with this. So I am choosing hand sanitizer. Because I can't even fathom any
cleanest
condiment.
Belly button around.
I couldn't. My brain shut down.
It's perfect. I used to do professional team building, and this was always one of my questions for team building as icebreakers.
I think that would destroy a team for me.
You would just be having all the judgment. I'm just going to put out there that somebody, and you'll find out later who, said mayonnaise. Did you die?
I'm covering my mouth because I can't say anything. Oh no! This is going to divide the group.
I know. I can't wait.
Oof.
So anyway, just spoiler alert. That's out there in the world.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh no.
Now that I've ruined your night, this was amazing.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
Thank you for talking to me. Say hi to Minerva for me. I love
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
What do I have to do?
Nothing.
Oh.
I'm gonna say these words, and then it's gonna be over, and it's gonna be sad. But I'm excited that we did this. You ready?
I am too. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Keep being badass, and love yourself as much as you love heaving bosoms.
Yay!
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.